Hello everyone, welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state, utilizing Tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be about the militarization of Memphis and he's mentioned also New Orleans, so I am going to look in on that too. Now, when I did the reading on the militarization of Chicago, and I got that, I really wasn't feeling like he was going to do that. It was like, well, like he intends to, and I think at one point I said, if I was looking at this, it's like, it looks like, it was like it was leaning towards yes, but like I just wasn't feeling that it was going to happen. And now he has backed off on that. And honestly, I think it's because the people of Chicago were like, we're not having this, and stand up to the bully. And so he backed down. And now he's mentioning Memphis, and as I said, he mentioned New Orleans also. So I want to look at that. And the deck I'm using today is going to be my Sacred Rose tarot deck, and this is a copy of the very first tarot deck that I ever bought. I would not recommend it as a first. I didn't know what I was doing back then, so it was like, oh, it's just such pretty artwork. Now that what I know now, start with a more traditional Rider Waite, and then move into some of the more the other decks, okay, that maybe the artwork's a little bit different or a little bit harder to read. So anyway, I am going to look into the militarization of Memphis. That'll be the first one I do. Okay, as always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Is Trump going to go into Memphis? He's threatening it. He's posturing it. He's been having the National Guards be ready. He's itching to send them somewhere. And Chicago kind of stood up. So let's see. Is Trump going to do this to Memphis? Okay. Entertainment purposes only. Memphis. The Five of Swords. Okay. There's that. That's in the very heart of this. And this is a card of, in the traditional Rider Waite, this is the one that there's one person standing there with three swords, and then the other two swords are on the ground, and the other two people just walked away. So I always look at that as kind of like, what have you won? And so this person, it's like, what have they won? It was like more trouble than it's worth. Okay, that's the feeling I'm getting from this card. And also, real quick, this is an example of why this deck is just a little bit more difficult to read. It's not difficult. It's just that the images in the minor arcana are some of them are very different than the Rider Waite. So you kind of have to remember, like, oh yeah, what's that card, and what does it mean? So that's the only reason I say that. The artwork is really nice though. And then the Nine of Swords. And this is going to be the challenge. And the challenge of this is the Nine of Swords it's stress, anxiety, nightmare. And so the challenge is, I think the people that are pushing back, causing stress, is what I'm feeling with this. Like, the people don't want this and they're pushing back. That's what they did in Chicago, and they were able to stop it. Okay, Nine of Wands, battle weary. And that is the options of battle weary. And this is also a card of looking over, like, what has been done in the past. What lessons can you learn from the past so you can take that into that next final step into the 10. So this is telling me, to finish the journey. So this is, what can they learn from what the other cities have done? What was successful? Why is it that he didn't go into Chicago? That's what Memphis needs to be asking themselves. Why did he not go into Chicago, and can we duplicate that here? Okay. The Foundation, the King of Pentacles. And the Pentacles is something of substance, something of value. What is it that I don't even know who the governor is there, or maybe the mayor of Memphis. but this is the foundation of this, of like, oh, and this could really be the message of, oh, and it has been, I've seen, like, they're saying our crime rate is down. This is what, we've been able to do. And also in this, there's a little leprechaun sitting right here. And so, yeah, I think this is like, we do, Memphis is a vibrant city. We do not need that kind of chaos in our city. Okay. The recent influences are the Four of Swords. Okay, this is someone who's resting, who, and in the Rider-Waite, this is someone who's literally laying in state, laying in rest. So this is the recent influences. I'm thinking about this, and it's like, okay, so laying in state is either going to be the death and the assassination of Charlie Kirk is perpetuating, him wanting to do this, that, or, his own health is making it to where he can't, like, follow through with this. Okay. Like, I'm not really, I'm looking here, there's not really a lot of action cards here. You got the 4 and 5 of Swords, which is, nobody's really, like, winning at all costs. What did you really win? Literally laying in state, not moving forward. Anxiety, nightmares. This is a card of looking over the past, wanting, like, rest. What have you learned? The anxiety of this situation. And then the 9 of Cups. A lot of 9s here. And the 9 of Cups I always get as drunk on power in the lower energy. This is, so 9s, let me just take a minute here. We've got these 3 9s here. So it's like, the 9s are the, like, right before you finish. So this is like they're gearing up, but then there's like, they're gearing up and then it, like, doesn't go anywhere, which I keep saying that. Oh my goodness. How many readings have you guys, especially those of you who have been here with me for a while, have seen me go, there's this buildup and then, like, it doesn't go anywhere. That's what I'm feeling. There's, like, all these 9s that, like, are the resting before, and then we just don't get that final action that would be him going into these cities. So let me keep going here. So, okay, we've got all of this. So is he going to actually do it? And Memphis. I'm just not seeing those moving and action cards here in... Is he going to be doing this in Memphis? Page of Pentacles. This is MAGA. It's also, messages about security, messages about money, bringing the receipts. Could be whistleblowers, younger people, 3 of Cups, people celebrating, and Knight of Pentacles, because they've been able to... I don't think that he is, because these are actually, a message of, hey, our city's just fine. We're doing just fine. We do not, like, we've made progress and we don't need you here. None of these are action cards. Okay. None of these are action cards, and it was kind of that same feeling that I got about Chicago. It was like, I know the news everywhere is saying that, yes, in fact, he's going to send the military into Chicago, and he never did. I'm going to change my lighting here, I think, real quick. Oh, there I am. Okay. We've got a lot darker in here for some reason. So, yeah, it's like, that's the feeling I'm getting here. It's like a lot of posturing, a lot of threatening, but there's no action with this. In fact, I can't see. It's like, I can't see my cards. Yeah, like, none of these are action cards. So, and, if anything, you get Memphis saying, we're good. We don't need you here. We're just fine. Or, no, that's what this is. So I don't think, it's kind of the same thing I got with Chicago of, I know what the news is saying, but that's not what I'm getting in the cards. So let me look into New Orleans, because that was the other city that he has mentioned. Is Trump going to be sending the military into New Orleans? And I'm talking, I just want to clarify because we got hurricane season coming up here. Specifically for, this, bullshit helping law enforcement, helping ICE. I don't know whatever justification he's using. I'm specifically not asking about hurricane season because, that technically would be correct. So I'm just talking about this, wanting to militarize these cities. Is he going to do this to New Orleans? Tim Miller that could be real interesting with Tim Miller living there in New Orleans and his podcast of what there at the Bulwark, what he would be saying. Queen of Swords. Okay, so this is going to be someone who's more of an action card. Okay, so this is going to be somebody, military and legal. So like if we wanted to see this as somebody in charge, Kristi Noem or Pam Bondi. I usually get Pam Bondi as the Queen of Wands because I always say she's like a cheerleader. She's not a lawyer. She's not doing lawyering. She's doing PR. So if this is Kristi Noem, I'm just saying that, it's a female, and this is more of a decisive action card. Let's see what the challenge is to that. Is the Hanged Man? No. No. I'm kind of looking here at this. I was looking at this and it's like this almost gives me like vampire vibes with the real pale skin and the black hair and New Orleans and all the vampire lore that they have going there. That may be a stretch. I just noticed that and wanted to point that out. That's what I was looking at. And then the challenge of wanting to do this is the Hanged Man. No. A state of suspension. Okay. And the truth comes out, the sun comes out. And so, no, I mean, this is a happy card. These are all in the foundation, the Empress, giving birth to new ideas. It's also our country. So, Nine of Cups in the past, recent events. I really think this is New Orleans kind of doing the same thing of no, and there's no. Four of Swords, state of rest. So I know that he keeps saying he's going to do this. I know that he did it to DC. I know that he's done it to LA. But I'm just, he's tacoed on Chicago. There wasn't a whole lot of action. There was more posturing for Memphis, but as I said, I don't know about the governor, but and the mayor, but I'm getting the feeling of this messaging of no, we're good. And here with New Orleans, I mean, I'm kind of getting that same thing of no, we're good. As I said, I don't know who the mayor is, but whoever it is, probably very decisive in saying we don't want you here. And the reason I know that it could be Kristi Noem's, like because of Homeland Security, but she's really not. I mean, it would be more a Pete Hegseth thing. So, I think this is New Orleans saying, no, we're good. We don't want you here. We do not want you here. And the sun is shining. We're happy and, get the hell out. So, yeah, I don't. And, interestingly enough, the first deck, as I said, this isn't the actual first deck. It's just a copy, but I bought it in New Orleans. So that's interesting that I used this deck for that reading. Is he going to militarize any more of the cities? Is he going to do this in any more of the cities? And I'll just do 3 cards on that. Is he going to do this, like actually send it in? Not posturing, but actually doing it. Max, hey, Max. You're going to hear some clanking because my younger cat is about ready to knock a pin off of something. He's playing with it. Okay, so is he going to... There it goes. Is he going to do this in any other of these cities? And with that... King of Cups, Mad King Don. He really wants to, but 6 of Pentacles. and Knight of Swords. He's making the plans. Now, the Six of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite, this is going to be that card of, in the higher energy, it's you have more than enough to give to others. In the lower energy, it's the oligarchs handing pennies out to the people. It's basically, it's the person that's standing there with all the money, and then they've got the scales, and they're just kind of handing, some coins out to some people. So what I'm seeing here is he has these ideas, but he doesn't actually put them into action. Like, he's got this and he doesn't know like what it takes. And yes, I know he's done this to LA. I know he's done this in DC. I'm wondering if he just doesn't have the money to do it. That might be it. Like, the money just isn't there. And so that's maybe why he has to ask, Congress for money. And he doesn't want to do that. So let me just get a more decisive, like, I understand he wants to, but is he going to? This is also a card of the reckless action that he takes. Like, there could be a plan, but then he's so reckless, or it's so reckless in how it's implemented that, like, you've got courts that have said no, and then it gets overturned. It's going to be, going to Supreme Court. He's saying, oh, he has to do this. He has to, this is a false friend. All of, these emotional changes that he's making, Knights are changes, cups, the emotions. And so that's why I'm saying, like, he's saying that, like, it's a lie. It's all based on a lie of what he's doing. The Hermit card, shine a light into the dark. Show me the law that I can use to manipulate to be able to do what I want to do. And he's getting, like, the courts are somewhat reining him in. And the Nine of Wands, battle weary. Yeah, I just don't... Once again, I get this, all of this, like the lead up to it, and then he tacos. And whether or not it's, the courts have put some restraints around that, and then I know that there's been some stuff that's gotten overturned, and it's kind of hard to keep up with, what all the courts say, because it just goes back and forth so much. So right now, I get, like, he has every, like, when he says it, he has every intention of doing it. There's the plan to do it. There's that, and then there's, like, this reckless action. And so that, and I know with Chicago, I was saying it's that Knight of Swords, it's that reckless action that they can use to try to stop this, like, in the courts. And then I think that, people of Memphis and New Orleans, look at what Chicago did, follow their lead, and just say no. That's what it's going to take, is just telling him no. If it's not going to be the courts that do it, it's going to be the people that do it. And that's kind of what I'm seeing with that. So, best of luck to you guys there in Memphis and New Orleans. I really hope I'm right. I hope that, he continues to stay out of all of our cities, including Chicago, because right now, he's walked that back. So, fingers crossed. Thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I'll put another reading up here for you. I may put that, the militarization of Chicago up there. At one point, I was like, and like, it wasn't a real strong yes, and I was feeling more strongly no. So I'll put that up there for you to check out, and like, subscribe, all that great stuff. And I will catch you on the next reading. Have a good day.